The grey man does whatever a grey man can. Can he make a comic feed? Yes, he can. He just did. Watch now. A video from Grey Man. A video from Grey Man.
Grey Maniacs gather! I'm going to go through my reads for this week. I'm actually quite late for this, so I've got a few more comics in, so it's going to be a long Jimmy Olsen stuffed read for long. I also got a package from Matilda that I'm going to open now and show you what I got. I can't remember what it is. It's some art. I know it's some art. I know it's an old tablet that she didn't want anymore, and she graciously let me have. And at least one comic book. Here we go. It's a Mighty Marvel facsimile copy, I believe. There you go. A nice 4 number 229, which I can stick into my... Yeah, it's a facsimile. You got all the old adverts and everything. Although the paper is a much newer style of paper, of course. But yeah, that's cool. 229. I don't remember this as particularly being... I don't know why I did a facsimile of it. It's a particularly important comic book in Four's story. I'm not too sure. Right, and there's some art. Hey, what? Hey, I feel triggered. Get better covers, Grey Man. What? How could you say that? How could you say that? My covers are the best. I'm the cover singles champion, don't you know? I got a perfect score. I got 5 10s last week, so you can't be saying these things to me. I love this picture. You know, it looks like it's supposed to be like this was done for the Sharks cover, but it looks like I've got a fish stuck in my head. I look like strangely ecstatic about having my brain being sucked out by a shark. You see the resemblance? Awesome. All right, this is a nice, interesting one. This is some trees. I think this is for Lisa. Nice avenue of trees, autumnal trees. I don't know if Lisa got so much she can put it in her house, hopefully. Well, that's a cool one. If you can send me this one. This was a team-up video that we done a while ago. It's me and Zlata, or rather Sabra and Captain Britain. There you go. That's me and Zlata in our other halves. Oh, right, and we got a nice... This is for my birthday competition. No, it wasn't. It was my birthday book competition that I did a long time ago. This was, gosh, this is over a year ago, isn't it? It's Cthulhu! Dread Cthulhu, gaze into the eyes of madness. Oh yeah, bit of Cthulhu loveliness. I don't remember this one. I think I do. Yeah, it's me as Blue Beetle, but I'm the Grey Beetle. Even greyer than I am. I'm not that grey yet, Matilda. She's obviously thinking ahead. She's thinking ahead. I'm going to grow into this picture. I'm getting there. Oh God, look, there's some greys. Oh my gosh. Oh well. Had to happen eventually. That's cool. Got lots of art there. I'm not sure how I'm going to put it. And yeah, she sent me a tablet that she had that she wasn't getting the use out of. So hopefully I can get some use out of it. At the very least, I can use it for getting my Cthulhu H.P. Lovecraft stories, because me and Matilda are starting a H.P. Lovecraft thread, or like a weekly show. Now we're doing Isle of the Dark. We're going to start doing reading from the H.P. Lovecraft books, and actually Rena from Isle of the Dark is going to join us as well. So that's cool. Right, so what have I read this week? Well, a week and a half to be honest. Lots and lots of Jimmy Olsen, of course. Blimey, I'll have to go through all of these. It's going to be a long old video again, but never mind. Right, so let's go for a story one at a time. I don't want to go too much in case I don't want to give too many spoilers away in case I do the What Would Jimmy Do show that I keep talking about. Right, the monster that loved Aqua Jimmy. Yeah, for some reason Jimmy takes over from Aquaman, gets Aquaman's powers for a week while Aquaman and Superman are away. Some monster falls in love with him, kind of. I just remembered Ranger Slices. I've got to show the covers off for longer. I tend to forget when I'm doing this. Yeah, he uses these sea animals in all kinds of ways. But the thing is, every time he uses sea animals to do something, like for example, getting some octopuses to form a trampoline for some guy falling out of the sky, like that would help. The monster that loves him keeps copying it and in like doing the same sort of similar things, but in trying to copy what the other monsters do, he creates a disaster even though he's not trying to. In the end, the monster gets encased back in an iceberg, so he can go back on frozen again. That's because he came out of an iceberg in the first place, and he goes back into an iceberg afterwards. Right, and then you've got this one. This is from 19. Right, when did 4 come to Marvel Comics? Can somebody answer? This is 1961, and this is 4 in DC Comics. I'm pretty sure Marvel copied them. They copied everything, really. If you think about it. In fact, there was a comic later on. There's a story where he mentions Fantastic Four. He says Fantastic Four in a set I can't remember who the Fantastic Four he was talking about, and I thought, isn't that before Marvel's Fantastic Four come along? And I think, I wonder if Stan Lee read that and used it. Anyway, so in this one, he goes back into the past, as he, it so often happens. It's so easy. You can just trip over a curb. You find yourself in the past. These things can happen, and it turns out that he gets assisted by 4, who is like the Superman of his time, kind of thing. And there's an evil Loki, and he manages to outsmart Loki, who's actually just he's a fifth dimensional imp from the fifth dimension. So basically, he's an ancestor of Mixie Plickety Plockety Plock. Right, Jimmy Olsen's secret power. Oh, some gangsters give him this coin that repels anything that's coming at him, kind of thing, but the coin's got like a bug in it, so it kind of helps him in some ways, this repelling device, but also it makes Superman think that he's like an agent for the bad guys for a bit, but it just turns out there's a bug inside the coin. It's a very weird story, and I think to myself, well, why didn't they just keep the coin on themselves to repel Superman from getting them instead of like giving it to Jimmy? It didn't make much sense. Right, this is the one I've shown this before on the kissing covers one. Matilda pointed out that they were kissing cousins, and I was like, oh yeah, they kind of are kissing cousins. So it's Lois and Lucy Lane, their respective son and daughter. So yeah, keep it in the family. Right, it's a made up story from another world. She looks very cute in her Supergirl outfit, the daughter of Lois and Clark. Young Jimmy is a pilot, a spacecraft pilot. He doesn't think much of what's her name in this, Lola. He doesn't think much of Lola because she has to, obviously, but she's like Clark. She has to pretend she's all wimpy and boring and dull and wears her glasses and so forth. But Jimmy eventually sees her for lovely young girl that she is, falls in love with her. Superman won't give, or Clark Kent won't give his consent for them to marry, but because he's worried that he'll get killed, her enemies will try and get to him through her family, kind of thing. Even though he's married Lois, Clark Kent Jimmy Jr. has found a potion. He discovers something that makes it so that they have superpowers, so they'll be safe. But then Luthor contrives it so they lose their superpowers. What's this device? I can't remember what this device is now. Device does something, it all ends up well. That's basically it. I can't remember what the bloody story was now. It's just this is a different story, isn't it? I thought it was a continuation of the first story. No, it's not a continuation of the first story. The Jinx of Metropolis. Oh, he's got some device that Jimmy finds some device that came out of Superman's rocket when he came to Earth as a baby, which destroys iron basically, and all kinds of scrapes and shenanigans, occur. Yeah, that's about it really. Don't need to go any further into that. Jimmy Olsen's sweethearts, right? In this last story, he's trying to fool Lucy. Basically Lucy's giving him the cold shoulder, but there are all these starlets, all these amazing starlets like Tuesday Weld, Marilyn Monroe, Gina Lola Brigida, Rock Hudson's there as well, Bridget Bardot and Gina Lola Bigrida, I don't know who she is, and they're having a cat fighting over Jimmy. Right, and Lucy thinks, well, wow, there must be something more in him than meets the eye if all these Hollywood starlets are after him. Kind of spoiler alert, they're all lookalikes. He's hired some lookalike actresses to make Lucy jealous. And he comes unstuck and gets a bop in the head from Lucy. Oh, naughty Jimmy. Right. Right, this next one we have. Did I show you the cover of that one sufficiently? I think I did. There you go. Beautiful cover. Alright then, this is the next one. I think Supergirl and Jimmy are going to marry. There you go. Jimmy Olsen marries Supergirl. Another imaginary tale, as if they're not all imaginary anyway. Now, how does it come about that he's going to marry her? He asks for a raise. I think she loses her memory. Yeah, he accidentally had some red kryptonite, and he didn't know that she was Supergirl. So he had some red kryptonite, and it turns out this is red kryptonite that makes you completely forget who you are. Or she forgot that she had superpowers. So they end up getting married because Clark realises she can't remember who she is. She doesn't remember she's got superpowers. She's lost her superpowers as well, actually. And so he's like, oh, well, they might as well get married then because she's not going to have any enemies that's going to hurt him. But then she gets her memory back, and then she's got to try and fool. Like, she basically wants Jimmy to love her as Supergirl, but she doesn't want. It's just a silly, convoluted Silver Age story. She wants Jimmy to love her as Supergirl, but he's already married to Linda Lee, who is obviously Supergirl, and she's like, "Oh, don't you love me? Couldn't you love me?" And she's like, "Yes, you're beautiful and gorgeous and a lovely woman, but I'm married and I wouldn't do anything bad to Linda, you know." Yeah, as he should do. How would you expect any less from Jimmy Olsen? He's a stand-up guy. Matilda on Cover Slingers this week was trying to say that he'd bonked Lana behind Superman's back when they were married on his comic book. I was like, no, Jimmy wouldn't do that. He's a stand-up fella. And then it turns out that in the end she reveals that she is Linda Lee and Supergirl. And old Jimmy's thinking, bloody hell, all my Christmases have come at once here. Woo-hoo-hoo! All my Christmases have come at once. Right, the doomed reporter is up to his waist in quicksand in this last story. Yeah, he foils some villains on a train. They basically they kidnap him, take him with him, make him dig a hole to find some escape uniforms they're going to use. Then they leave him in a quicksand. But don't worry, Superman was there all along, and the day, as you'd expect, is saved. And the criminals get recaptured. Right, this next one featuring the boy witch doctor. Okay, first story, Jimmy the soda jerk. Is that a thing? Did they used to call people who served sodas jerks? Soda jerks. Bloody hell, I've never heard of that. This is from 1962. Maybe you Americans have to let me know. Was there a job called a soda jerk? Was it because he jerked the lever down to get the soda to come out? But he's basically there undercover because he's trying to find some criminals. He knows that the criminal who owns the business is giving secret messages to criminals who are coming in. It turns out the speak your weight machine, if a certain weight of person goes on it, it gives out because every time you go on it, it prints out your weight, and so if someone of a certain weight goes on it, the message prints out, which is meant for the criminals. There's an overweight criminal coming in to get in the messages, kind of thing. But there's this girl who also works in the what would you call it, a soda bar, who's a large lady, and she fancies Jimmy, keeps wanting to go on a date with her, and he uses her to step on the weight so he can discover the secret messages that's being found. And as a return, he has to give her 308 kisses because she weighs 308 pounds. He's going to break his lap. I swear he's going to break his lap. But you know, oh well, it was worth it. I got 308 pounds of satisfaction out of catching that no good crook. Right. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Right, Jimmy Olsen's super birthday is the next story along. What happens in this one again? Superman. Does Superman say he'll be his? Yeah, Superman says he's going to do whatever he wants for a day, kind of thing. But then he gets his hands scalded and he can't wind up his watch to call Superman. So he gets Clark to go around with him all day and say to Clark, if anything happens, you've got to wind the watch so that Superman is called. And obviously Superman is Clark Kent, so he's trying to, rescue Jimmy from situations whilst not giving away his secret identity. Basically at the end he gets Bruce Wayne to dress up as Clark Kent so he can be two places at the same time. Well, and the cover story, The Boy Witch Doctor, I think he finds a doll that makes seems to do voodoo on people and makes people get hurt, but it turns out for some reason Superman is actually making people hurt using his heat vision every time that Jimmy sticks a needle in the doll, and he's doing that to because there's a criminal undercover there that he wants to expose, and he thinks if he believes that this is a voodoo doll, I don't know, maybe he'll use the voodoo doll I think he tries to use the voodoo doll to kill Superman. The Superman's pretending it's going to work, just to expose the criminal. And once the criminal is exposed, Superman swoops down, puts him in the old pokey. Crime doesn't pay. But yeah, it was all a ruse. It was all a cunning ploy that Superman was adopting to expose the criminal element. Right, I think this is the one. No, it's not this one. It's later on. It was one I was talking about to Shebab when I did my comic memories with Shebab recently. I know it is this one. I think it is this one. So these alien guys come to Earth and they mess with Jimmy. But let's get to the right story in the right order. This is the one that's got Matilda in it. You see Matilda Gothica there. She's knocked Jimmy on the head and she's dragging him back to her cave for happy time. Basically, she's like, "You will come back to my cave, Jimmy. This is where the action is." And Jimmy's all like, "No, unhand me, Zlata, you fiendish lady." No, once again, he goes back in time. I can't remember how he goes back in time. Oh, he gets a Superman robot taken back in time. And when the Superman robot has gone back in time, he has a malfunction. And Jimmy needs some silver to help fix the robot. Unfortunately, he hasn't got anything on him which is actually silver. He's got a little pair of gold scissors that he got given as a prize for something. His last silver dime, he'd given it to a beggar recently. Then a saber-toothed tiger comes out, goes on the attack. But luckily, Matilda was on hand. Matilda was on hand with her club. She bonks the tiger on the head, and then she gives Jimmy the glad eye, basically. I actually posted this on Instagram. An amazed Jimmy discovers he is a she. I've been rescued by a cave girl. Uh-oh, I don't like the way she's leering romantically at me. Holy cats, I think she's fallen for me. This is the look we see on Zlata's face. Every time I show a Jimmy comic on Cover Slingers, this is how Matilda's face goes, like a little glow of joy. Pure, kind of carnal joy. It's like, ooh, Zlata, control yourself, girlfriend. Right, and Jimmy, she knocks Jimmy over the head and she's dragging him back to her cave, literally. But lucky he's got them golden scissors in his pocket and he nips off a little bit of his ginger locks. But I think I'd rather have gone with Cave Zlata than get carried off by a pterodactyl, which is what happens in the very next scene, and then dropped into a giant spider's web. And then to Titano, the giant kryptonite eye blasting gorilla that Superman sent back into the past, he turns up. Can't remember where he got the silver from to fix that's right, I forgot what happened there. But they get some silver. I won't spoil it. They got some silver and he gets fixed and they go back to the future again. Right, the next story, Jimmy Olsen in Scotland Yard. He comes to jolly old England, so he comes to, and he keeps getting foiled. Some criminal called the Purple Pimpernel keeps foiling him. Every time he tries to use his signal watch to get Superman to come and help, Superman doesn't turn up. And it turns out for some reason it's to do with the fact that when he turned his watch back when he came to England time, to Greenwich Mean Time, obviously we make time here, all the time flows from England where we produce it in Greenwich. I've forgotten what I was saying now. But yeah, things happened He worked it out. It was just because he put his watch back. This the way it wasn't working, and he managed to summon Superman. And the Purple Pimpernel is captured. Right, and then the last one, Jimmy Olsen freak. This space princess called Allura, I believe her name is. Is it Allura in this one? Ilona. It's Ilona. Allura is in another one. Ilona is the name of this particular space princess. And she comes, she's like, oh, Jimmy, I've travelled across the universe to find you. Kiss me again, you handsome, brilliant, captivating man. See, Matilda? She's got taste. Anyway, so she's fallen for Jimmy in a big way. And then he makes Lucy jealous. He says he's going to go with her back to her home planet. There's going to be some hubba action. Yeah, Lucy's definitely jealous. But then, as he's about to go to the spaceship, 4 other guys show up. Are you sure this is the Earthman alone that plans to marry? Why, he's a mere stripling. He must be the one, Vanguard. Look, he's wearing her betrothal belt. Yeah, she gives him a belt which provides him with lots of different magical powers or super scientific powers. Anyway, these 4 guys start bullying old Jimmy by turning him into a big fat beach ball. They give him big ears, a long tongue, like big hair. He makes his hair grow all over his face. And it turns out they're kind of like hazing him kind of thing because they happen to be the other husbands of Ilona. So when we heard that Ilona was going to take a 5th husband, we 4 got jealous. I guess we lost our heads. And Jimmy's like, 5 husbands? Oh, isn't that bigamy? Trigamy or something? It's illegal. So now he's betrothed as to be the 5th husband of Ilona, he says, like, Superman, that female wants to put me in a harem. You've got to help me out of this jam. So basically, to scare Ilona off, he pretends that he's got 2 other wives already. It's basically Lana and Lois in old lady masks, pretending to be his other wives. And Ilona's like, oh no, I can't have that. It's all right for me to have 4 or 5 husbands, but you can't have extra wives, you know. definitely a women's libbers from outer space episode for a future Shebab video, or at least one for her to pick up. It's number 59 Shebab. You know, I don't know what her real name is. I spoke to her just a couple of days ago. Did she tell me her real name? Do we know her real name? She's just Shebab. I'm sure she has got a real name. I'm sure Shebab's wasn't her given name. I've probably heard it and forgotten. Anyway, number 60. Let's get on with this. Time is growing, and this is going to be really long. Right, Super Might. Oh, there's a boy who looks like he's dying in hospital. Superman gives him a tiny Superman robot to do his bidding for a bit, and it seems to be making him pep up. And they're talking about, oh yeah, you know, they're kind of relating the fact that this little robot's helping him by giving him something to like and to look forward to. And the little robot starts doing things to save people on the little boy's bidding, but every time he's doing something, Jimmy's just sure the robot's going to break because it's not made to deal with what it's saying it's trying to do. But it keeps going and managing to fight the radiation and the electricity and still keeps on going. But it turns out it was actually the robot, when it looked like the robot was doing stuff, it was actually one of the people from the Superman emergency squad from Kandor, but the same size as the little miniature robot man. So, yeah, and it helps the boy to recover as well. A rather convoluted one, or at least in the explanation. Right, the girl who was Lucy Lane's double is the next story. In this one, we see the magic belt, the Sanevian golden belt that he got when he was betrothed to Ilona in the last comic. And he starts using it. Okay, Streaky the cat, the super cat, is going a bit bonkers. I'm not sure what's going on with the cat, but anyway, he ends up going back in time. He follows it back through time. I think it's somewhere in America during the time of the before the revolution. The Brits, them damn Brits, that kind of thing. Right, there's a Lucy lookalike. Right, Jimmy gets mistaken for a witch. They're in Salem. No, the woman gets mistaken for a witch. He says she's not guilty, and I'll blink in, prove it. I'll take the ducking in the stall. He uses his magic belt to stop him from drowning because he would have drowned for the amount of time that he was down. She falls in love with him. It turns out, anyway, in the end, he gets mistaken for a witch because he uses his belt to do certain tasks. And yeah, and it turns out this girl who was like Lucy was actually a witch, and she sends him back to his time, helps him to escape from being executed. But then he's in the future. It says, that afternoon in the Metropolis Museum, I looked up Old Salem, and here's a faded print that resembles Lucinda. The article says that Lucinda Lawrence was tried as a witch on June the 13th, 1692, and in her possession was a devil's talisman, a belt with strange jewels, which is the belt that he left behind. Wow, I'd better never tell Lucy that I almost married a witch. Yeah, he completely forgets the fact she was executed as a witch. Or at least she was tried as a witch. I'm assuming she was executed, because he didn't exactly, witches didn't, or women who they decided to accuse of witches never actually got off, did they? Didn't get a pat on the wrist and told not to do it again, even though they hadn't actually done anything. They got executed. So he kind of glosses over that fact a little bit. This witch who saved his life, right? Then in the Fantastic Army of General Olsen, some space people come to Olsen to help them. Obviously, Superman's nowhere to be found. Princess Mara of the Green Planet, and I want you to contact Superman. Oh no, this was what happened? First off, there was a science fiction movie being made, and sort of Jimmy falls for it a bit. He kind of mentions it in a press article. Perry White's not happy about it because he says, "Oh, you've given cheap publicity to this crummy movie," and then some real aliens turn up in real trouble, and Perry won't believe him when he tries to write a story about it and tries to get them some help, and so it ends up with Jimmy leading the army, but these guys are kind of like pacifists and just all round rubbish fighters. And basically it's how Jimmy's able to survive the situation. It turns out with a little bit of help from Supergirl and Superboy, but because he's basically he's doing a suicide march, but unknown to Jimmy, Superman and Supergirl save the day, but let him take the credit for it. Superman does that sometimes. He's like, oh, Jimmy's ego won't be able to handle it if he doesn't know that he's done this himself. I'll do it for him, but not let him know. Kind of thing. This is something that happens every now and again in Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. Right, so that was number 60, The Fantastic Army of General Olsen. It's interesting that there is little callbacks to older stuff. Like in this one, you've got the belt that we saw in the previous issue. So, and occasionally we'll have returning characters and returning situations as well. Okay, we've got Superman's Phantom Pal, and this one, while he's using his elastic lad powers, somehow he's able to stretch himself so thin that he can go through a little tiny hole in the Phantom Zone. I don't feel I talked about this before. Actually, I think I talked about this before. Did I mention this on Cover Sleeve? I can't remember now. But Superman's Phantom Pal. He manages to go to the Phantom Zone. Mon-El is in there, who was being kept in there because he was poisoned by lead, and he's staying in until he can be healed in the 30th century. The criminals in the Phantom Zone tried to convince Jimmy to watch Superman change so he can get his secret identity. But Jimmy closed his eyes without telling anybody. He's like, he doesn't want to see. Superman's never told me his secret. I'm not going to discover it by surreptitious means. He's my pal, kind of thing. And Lois is saying, why didn't you get an amazing scoop? And Clark playing along because, not letting him know on that he's Superman. He said, yeah, why didn't you keep your eyes open so you could see who Superman was? And Jimmy basically chastises them for that. Superman is devoting his life to fight against evil, and both of you as good friends would risk betraying him just to satisfy your curiosities? You should be ashamed. And that's how Superman knows that Jimmy is his good pal. Right, and in this next one we get biblical. Jimmy's duel with Goliath. Jimmy gets mistaken. Somehow he goes back in time again. I think he gets shot with some weapon which makes him go back in time. He meets up with Goliath, who thinks that he's David for a bit. Goliath pretends that he wants to join David's side and he's not really a bad guy at all, but it's all a ploy to get the army of David surrounded by the Philistine army. Basically, he's faulted. He's faulted in the end. And I think it all turns out half of it was a dream anyway. But it's like was it a dream or wasn't it kind of thing? Yeah, it was a dream, I think. I don't Right, then Jimmy's robot slave. Oh, Jimmy comes down with a dodgy tummy after getting bellyache. So, now after eating a French meal, he gets bellyache. So he uses his robot that was given to him by Superman to try and do some stuff for him. All goes pear-shaped as usual. I kind of like this index of specific orders. This is the control panel of the index of specific orders to give to the robot. And it's got laugh, cry, use signal watch, disregard previous orders, show pain, act by self-control, act like a bizarro, imitate Clark Kent's voice, run fast, ignore Lucy, walk fast, talk loud or soft. This is the options that are on the control panel. It's pretty limiting if you ask me. So he ends up getting the robot to do scoops for him because he can't do it, and it all goes a little pear-shaped. He saves... the robot manages to save Perry White from assassins. But things start going a bit skew-whiff for him. The robot he had the robot go, just everything that they try and do, the robot starts having troubles, basically. Even going so far as to accidentally turning down a raise that Jimmy wanted. Because he pushes act like a bizarro, which makes him do the opposite of what Jimmy wants, would expect him to do. So he says no to a raise instead of yes. That was basically the end of that story. You never send a robot to do a man's work, huh? You never know what kind of crazy shenanigans may entail. Right, 4 more to go. This is going to be another massively long video. I have no idea how if anyone actually enjoys these videos. They get a few views, but no one watches many of mine anyway. So, right, and this one is a confusing one. Some criminals escape from Kandor. Jimmy's the only one there who can do anything. He fires a red kryptonite gun at them that has different effects on the different criminals. They escape still after knocking Jimmy out, I think. But then it turns out they get kidnapped themselves by some future villains who then dress up as the Kandorians. They want to get captured so they can go back to Kandor and get sent to the Phantom Zone. I can't remember why they wanted to go into the Phantom Zone now, though. Why did they want to go into the Phantom Zone? Reasons. They've got some special radiations on them. They're going to rip open the Phantom Zone if they get sent there and release all the criminals from the Phantom Zone. That was what's happened. But yeah, Jimmy's sussed it out, and he ends up lowering them. They think they're being lowered into the bottle seat of Kandor, but it's another bottle entirely, and they're trapped inside the bottle until Superman can come and grab them and take them back into the future. And he got a kiss from Supergirl, the jammy devil. The jammy devil got a kiss from Supergirl. Right, and then this next one, Jimmy Olsen, editor-in-chief. Right, he becomes editor for the day. He starts sending Perry out on all these different missions. Right, he starts being a bit authoritarian, sending Perry out on all these different missions. This is similar to another one where he was editor for the day, and he's trying to, basically, all the while he's doing it, he's trying to stop him. He's putting him on missions where he can't smoke his cigars. Perry can't smoke his cigars, because it turns out he realised that Perry had been slipped some poisonous cigars. But rather than just outright telling him, I don't know why he doesn't outright tell him, to be honest. He just puts him in situations where he can't smoke. Yeah, I can't remember why he doesn't tell him, but they end up foiling the criminal who tried to kill him. Right, and this time he gets a pay rise, so he got a pay rise. So what he lost before, he's now got. Right, and this last one, the Tom Thumb Jimmy Olsen. That's right. They encounter some criminal who seemingly makes them look like they shrunk. He makes it look, but it turns out they wasn't shrunk at all. They were just in a big room that was made to look like they'd shrunk, because he's trying to get some information from them, and he figured that if he made them think they'd been shrunk, they might, tell the information that they wanted. But when Jimmy lands on a cushion, a pillow, and all his feathers come out, he realises the feathers aren't big. the feathers are small. So he realises, oh, we're not actually been shrunk. We're just in a room that's very big to make it look like we've been shrunk. Yeah. Master criminals and their plots, huh? Right, and this one, another alien from another world falls in love with Jimmy. It happens all the time. Here we go. Jimmy dear, on Earth you are a mere mortal, but if you come to my planet to marry me, the rays of our double suns will give you powers like Superman's. There you go. Another space hottie sees the ginger Mr. Action. Golly, this gorgeous space doll is wild about me. She's offering me marriage and superpowers. Who needs Lucy Lane now? He just tossed it aside, Lucy Lane's photo. But in Jimmy's defence, she can be a little standoffish, old Lucy. She's always going out with other guys on dates and that. Right, this one, Jimmy Olsen, Hollywood star. Jimmy Olsen's nearly dying in quicksand again. I'm sure he was dying in quicksand a few issues back. Yeah, some criminal on the set wants to snuff him out because he's going to testify against him. And he ends up getting saved. He comes to a point and he says, oh, do you know who the masked man is who saved Jimmy? And it said, look at the rest of the stories for the clues that have been there since the first page. And I went back and looked at it and I don't see any clues. There was a page where there's lots of film stars of the time there. And it says, can you identify these film stars? But it turns out it was Boris Karloff. He was saved by Boris Karloff, who I don't think looks particularly like Boris Karloff in this picture. Does that look like Boris Karloff to anybody? I don't know. So saved by Boris Karloff. Yeah. But Jimmy doesn't know who saved him because he was wearing a hangman's mask. Right, Jimmy Olsen's fiery friends. There's a volcano, some fiery people come out of it and start chasing after him and Lana. Because they're attracted by their red hair. Because they've both got red hair, the fiery fiends, or fiery friends, however you want to call them, think that they are. So they basically lead them a merry chase, trying to stop them from burning things down. And in the end, Superman turns out, I think, saves. No, he doesn't save the day. What happens there? Oh, yeah. Well, because they're attracted to red, he ties a red Superman cloak to a tank and then makes the tank fall into the volcano and they follow it back home, basically. So, right, and then this last one, this is Allura, yeah. Restrain your impatience, Allura. I'll be on my way just as soon as I destroy these souvenirs of a childish infatuation. Here he is, literally tearing up pictures of Lucy Lane. He's like, oh yeah, space chick wants my company. I'm going, basically, is what he says. And, yeah, he gets there, and there's been a slight miscalculation. Yeah, just a ever so slight miscalculation. Oh, she gives him this mentor band, which he uses for a few japes along the way. He has a couple of little dates with Lucy before he goes. That's right, he has a date with her, and then she says, oh, we'll go out on another date next year. It's like ages away in the future. And he said, darn that hard-hearted Lucy, she's always playing me for a sucker. I'm a fool for bobbing with her when I have a beautiful doll like Allura. When a beautiful doll like Allura is crazy about me. So he ends up going to Allura's planet. And there was a slight miscalculation about scale. If we can just... Where is the picture? Here we go. There was a slight error when it comes to scale. And it turns out that poor old Jimmy isn't quite going to measure up to any of Allura's needs. Let's just put it like that, shall we? Yep. It's not going to work. It's not going to work out. Yeah. So he ends up... She's quite sad about it. Choke. Goodbye, Allura. I'm sorry it has to be this way. She gives him one last kiss before he goes back to Earth. Look. Yeah. Yeah. So a whole lot of woman. She might be worth the climb, but I just don't... I think there's be a possibility of getting lost. Right, so he just goes back and he's on his calendar planning when he next sees Lucy months away. Lucy says she might be able to make it New Year's Eve. Well, that's only a few months away. Sigh. I guess I'll have to wait. There you go. What a shame. It's a shame when giant space chicks don't work out, isn't it, really? But, you know, there's always more future space chicks that are bound to turn up. Or, you know, you might get lucky with Supergirl. Or, you know, Lucy Lane, somewhere down the line. Okay, just 2 more to go. Here we are. We got number 65. Presenting my star freak, Jimmy Olsen, the human porcupine. Oops, one of my quills hit Lucy Lane's hat. Help me, Superman. I'm sorry, Jimmy. This time you are a victim of a magic spell which even I can't undo. Basically, this is the 5th dimensional girlfriend of Mr. Mixie-Click. Let me read you this one first. Right, this is the Alien Jimmy Olsen fan club. We've got a bit of a tear on the got a spine split on this one. The Alien Jimmy Olsen fan club. Before he goes to visit this alien planet, he's wearing a space costume, so he's not wearing his usual clothes. Plus, he gets his robot to try and cut his hair, and it makes a hash of it, so he ends up shaving his head. So when he gets to this alien planet, it looks like they're treating them with all hospitality, but secretly, apparently they always do that to people before they execute them. And they're going to execute them because they believe that Jimmy is not really Jimmy, and he must have replaced the real Jimmy. And so they're going to execute him without trial, basically, as is their want on this alien planet. Luckily, there was an egg. Oh, I won't go into that because I might use that as a future "What Would Jimmy Do" episode. Yeah, so there's a bird. They tie a cape to a bird, and it looks like Superman. And he says to all these alien guys who've made their own Superman summoning watches, he says, "Quick, summon Superman down. He can confirm it's me." They all push their watches at the same time, which makes it loud enough for the message to get across space to the real Superman. And he comes and messages him and goes, "Yes, this is the real Jimmy. You don't execute him." Right, and this next one, he gets turned to a human porcupine. Basically, yeah, it's Mr. Mixie-Plicklick's girlfriend, Miss Gizpittlesniz. I'm going with yeah. There she is. Miss Gizpittlesniz. I'm pronouncing it like that anyway. Because Jimmy doesn't want to marry her, she says, whatever the first animal you find, you're going to become that animal or have aspects of that animal. And he passes a porcupine. And he ends up with loads of porcupine quills, which makes Lucy Lane not happy. And he's trying to get Miss Gizpittlesniz, trying to get her to say her name backwards, so that he ends up fooling her. She goes back and he stops being a porcupine, but he finds out at the end he was lucky that he could have become a skunk. Right, this last one, the mysterious Lord of Devil's Island, another strange story. Again, he goes back in time. He ends up on Devil's Island, which is a prison colony the French owned back in the 1600s. Is there. There's the leader of Devil's Island looks like a devil himself, looks like Lex Luthor, but he's making people sign contracts to get out of Devil's Island, basically for their souls. By pure luck, Jimmy is able to thwart him, kind of. But was it a dream or wasn't it a dream? Is kind of the ending. Yeah, was it or wasn't it a dream? Yeah. Crazy. Right, and lastly we have this one, the cabinet from Krypton. Right, let's just do the stories in order. Is that the first story? No, the first one is the Burglar Kit from the future. A burglar comes to the future and tries to steal some stuff from Jimmy. Superman captures him, and then Jimmy starts using the Burglar Kit to try and thwart criminals himself. But he ends up a criminal gets the better of him, and this finds out he's undercover. Jimmy has to use these science tools to outwit them. He ends up making their boat sink by calling all the gold from the Fort Knox to it. And Superman turns up, saves all the gold. Yeah, saves Jimmy. Right, Jimmy Olsen's Last Stand. Once again, he goes back in time. I won't go into how he goes back in time because I might use that on a future thing. But it's superly crazy. He ends up with General Custer and is it the 5th or 7th UFC, 7th United States Cavalry, something like that. They're all going to get killed by a Lex Luthor looking Sitting Bull. He uses some of his knowledge of modern warfare to help the Custer's men last longer than they might have done. They end up all being killed. Jimmy ends up going back to the future. He was told it was all just a hallucination, but then they discover that there's 2 L's in Sitting Bull. So, oh, what a coincidence. Sitting Bull's got 2 L's in it, like Lex Luthor. Could it be? Right, the cabinet from Krypton. Jimmy discovers a cabinet from Krypton that wasn't turned into green Krypton because it left the planet Krypton before the planet was exploded and everything on it turned into kryptonite. He gets turned really old by going inside it. Perry White gets turned really young by being put inside it. They end up, Jimmy's trying to look after the little baby Perry whilst not giving the game away that he's once again got himself into a foolish situation. So he dresses up as Santa Claus to try and explain why he looks so old while he's trying to sort the situation out. He goes on the date with Lucy. She's not happy. Lois Lane falls into the cabinet, gets turned into a cat-headed woman. They manage to, all the while this is going on, Superman's not been able to help them because he's trying to deal with Mr. Mixoplick. And they end up getting changed back from their forms by basically appealing to Mr. Mixoplick's vanity by saying, look at this cabinet, it's much more magic than you. It's been able to do all these things. You wouldn't be able to do anything about that. You couldn't cure that magic. This magic is more powerful than your magic. And he turns it back to normal. There you go. And they also managed to fool him into saying his name backwards because that has to be part of it. I can't remember even how they did that now. I think it was Mr. Mixoplick starts reading this writing on the side of the cabinet, which Superman has sneaked on his name in reverse, so that when he reads it, he gets sent back. So that was it. That's my Jimmy readings for this week. Nice little stack read there. Got quite a few more to go. Cheers for tuning in. Hopefully it wasn't too long and boring for you all. Until next time, have a great amazing day, and may all your news be good news.
I can't think of a less bigly channeled mention or to sing a jingle about, so I won't scream and shout. I'll just say leave a comment down below for me. Oh yeah, leave a comment down below for me. A comment down below, please.